It's time for NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. Join your host, the accomplished Dr. Cherilyn Lee, as she welcomes the leading experts in health and well-being as they explore the advancements in natural health, physical fitness, nutrition, integrative medicine, and self-discovery.
Good morning, everyone. Whatever time you're going to be watching this show, morning, afternoon, or midnight. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm so happy to have in studio a very, very dear friend of mine. And I love the work that she's doing because she have supported and helped so many women. So we will be talking about exercising. Exercises are Sexercise, along with urinary incontinence. Because there's so many wonderful ways that women can really overcome urinary incontinence without surgeries. So you do not have to have surgeries for urinary incontinence. So I just want to say that I want to thank my guests, and we're going to kind of jump in. And my guest today is Spirit Halima. Thank you so much. You hear the people? They're all applauding for you.
I love it.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you very much. So, we're just going to kind of jump in. What is your background in what you do? And you're a coach, and you're a coach for?
I'm a female magnetism coach. And how I started this journey was really through learning more about the Taoist ancient sexual healing practices.
Now, I'm going to stop you along the way because people may not understand what that means. So tell me what that means.
So there's ancient practices that were really cultivated in Asia, and they were actually created for people to experience high vibrancy and immortality. So there were practices that only the high priestesses or the courtesans or the empress or the emperor knew, because there's female sexual practices as well as male sexual practices, so no one was left behind.
Okay.
But they were only taught to those who were esteemed. They weren't taught to the average person. In 1975, Monk Tok Chia, who is he's an energy master, was commissioned to come to the U.S., to the West, and bring these sexual arts to us. So that's how we got the average person that got the access to this.
It is so sad. Why wasn't it opened up to the average person? I mean, we all want to feel great and have magnetism. And,
absolutely, absolutely. Just like with any culture, you have those who know and those who don't.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
So in doing that, how long have you been practicing?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
I know I've been referring patients to you. They
while.
come in and say all these different things that are going on with them and not being fulfilled properly and not being able to have that control over the female vaginal area.
Yes.
And you teach all of this. And it's amazing when you know that you have that kind of control. Because a lot of times men in relationships, they really don't tell the women that the walls are just weakened.
Right.
And there's just so much space. And there's certain things that happen when there's too much space. Yeah. And women, because I do GYN exams a lot of times, and they'll tell me, well, why do I hear this air sound come out when I'm having sex? Mm-hmm. So the whole thing is getting those muscles exercise. You're going to exercise your biceps and triceps, and if you don't use it, you lose it. It atrophies.
Absolutely.
It atrophies, so you don't have that strength in the wall there. So just, tell everyone what you do, and I love the picture that they're showing of you right now.
Okay.
And let's go through the whole process.
Well, you made a great point, Dr. Lee, about if you don't use it, you lose it. And a lot of women feel that if they're abstinent or celibate, that's going to maintain their sexual tightness and strength. But it doesn't. You have to exercise the muscles. It's just the Yoni, I call the vagina Yoni, which is a Sanskrit word for sacred space, that if you don't exercise it, you lose the muscle strength. So even women who are having regular sex are using their muscles, hopefully more frequently than someone who's abstinent.
Right.
I have a training program called the Central Snapper Training, where I guide women in really
Snapper. Now, what does snapper mean? Come on now. Let's talk about the snapper treatment. Okay.
Yes.
We're going to snap what? What are we snapping?
Where you actually, the yoni is an instrument. And I always tell women.
The yoni is speaking
an instrument.
Is the vagina.
The vagina is an instrument. How many notes are you playing?
How many notes?
How many notes? Are you playing one note? Are you playing a symphony? Because the yoni has different sections that I think I have a picture up there that shows the 3 different main sections of the yoni that can be isolated and exercised independently and also synchronized. So it is our divine birthright to have mastery over the mystique of our wombs, of our yoni.
Oh, this is phenomenal because, I do exams and we don't look at the 3 levels as what you're stating here. So let's just say that again. There's
3 sections that we have in the yoni.
And as far as relating that to exercising,
yeah.
And how would a person know they're exercising all 3 levels?
Well, they have to develop that rapport. Just like a dancer has to develop a rapport, athlete has to develop a rapport with their muscles.
Wonderful.
On an intricate level, intimate level, that's what you have to do. When I first took a belly dancing class with Dr. Sunyata, and she was like sharing some information, she was like, squeeze the middle. And I was like, the middle? But now I understand after many years later that we definitely have control over the middle. I'm doing it now. You can do the opening, the middle, and the top. And it's just not about exercising, which is important, which is extremely important. It's also about sexual healing.
Yes.
Because there's we have iridology and we have acupuncture points. Well, I know you know of sexual reflexology.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And there's different points in our yoni space that correlate with organs, a liver, a kidney, a spleen. And when we're able to, exercise and massage those areas, we're actually working the organs.
We're going to show the device that you're using to massage. So you're not actually doing a hand massage.
No, we're not. You're using your muscles.
Your muscles.
Mm-hmm. You can do independently with your muscles. Absolutely. You can just learn to exercise. I teach my private clients that how to do that and how to isolate. But we have a wonderful tool that the ancients has been using for thousands of years called the Jade Egg.
Okay.
The nephrite Jade Egg is an amazing tool for healing. The jade is wonderful and
they're beautiful colors.
They're beautiful.
Yes.
And there's a lot of different things being sold online. I'm just letting people know, be very cautious. You want to have the correct quality, the right quality of jade. And also you want to make sure you have them drilled. At the top here, I think you can see there's a drilled hole so you can attach a thread, and there's so many different wonderful things you can do with that.
So you can purchase them that way. And I prefer people to actually contact you, and we'll have you give your contact information instead of just going online buying, because I know the safety. We want to make sure they're clean.
Absolutely.
And how you take care of them. Now, what is the difference between using this jade egg versus Kegel?
Well, I combine the two.
Okay.
So the jade egg, the Kegels is just like elementary school, and then the jade egg is your PhD.
Okay.
So the jade egg,
the PhD. Okay.
Is far superior in maximizing your muscles and getting that dexterity and that isolation ability and your suctioning power.
Okay.
Which is something that we don't really
my engineer who's sitting here working so hard, Jarvis. I wonder, have you heard of any of this before? Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's heard of it, and okay. So when we have Maria, who we're going to be doing the segment on Dining Out Healthy with Maria, who's here in the studio. So this is quite interesting. But a lot of the people, our everyday people, sometimes don't know about this.
Oh, absolutely.
This is why I've been referring you to a lot of patients.
Yes.
Of different age levels too. It's not just people in their 40s or 50s or 60s. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how even the older people, and I won't say older because I kind of fall into that bracket now, unfortunately.
We're limitless.
But I am happy and vibrant. So, but let's go ahead and talk about this jade egg because it's on the screen there. I want people to really understand a little bit more and how to take care of it. Better yet, we're going to, like I said, let you give your information so people can know more about it.
Well, I give the basics. I'll get some basics here about making sure you have the nephrite, the quality of jade, and that you do clean it. There's different ways you can do it. You can use hydrogen peroxide. You can use Himalayan sea salt to activate. It's a crystal, so you want to treat it as if though it's sacred. And there's different ways you can clean it with tea tree oil. And also putting it in boiling water. You don't boil it, but you put it in hot water and you let it sanitize it, and you want to sanitize it often. And, really want women to know that I wasn't told these things by my mom, right?
Neither was I. I don't think she knew about any of this. So
yeah, right. I didn't get this.
We barely talked about sex, so.
That's right?
Okay.
It's just like you got your cycle and don't get pregnant.
That was
right?
it. That was it.
So we're actually able now to give our daughters more information, to give them more esteem and really know how sacred they are once they tap into their sexuality. And it's really about, tapping into your femininity, that mystique, that power, and allowing your seed of power, which is your womb, because your womb has a voice. So many times, a lot of women, as you know, have sexual trauma.
Yes.
Shame. There's so much abuse. Just,
yes.
You can't get over a boo that you left 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This jade egg helps to clear that energy out.
Okay.
So far as magnetism, what are we magnetizing with? The pain, the hurts, and the trauma, or with our vibrancy, confidence, and radiance. So it makes a difference.
Wonderful. Well, this is exciting. I'm so glad we didn't script this show. So people can...
It's my favorite topic.
It's kind of firsthand. But I know when I send patients to you, the report that I receive back is they're very satisfied. They're very happy. And, it's just part of your everyday life. It's part of your journey.
It's your hygiene.
It's definitely your hygiene. And I feel that, people, you go in for your examinations and your pap smears and you have all your other tests done to make sure everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then start this procedure. I mean, the Kegel, like you said, the jade egg is a PhD.
It's a PhD.
It's a PhD.
It's a PhD.
So let's just talk about the and then the levels.
Okay.
And how would a person know, and how far do they insert this?
Okay.
But it has a string, so you can actually just...
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's drilled, some people are using, if you're obviously very fluent with the practice that you don't need to use a thread for this practice, but I always recommend beginners to thread it, so that way you don't fear that it's going to get lost or anything like that. But how you initially insert the egg is the best part of the practice.
Okay.
Because we're used as women, being pushed into by our men, by lingam or whatever, and it's like we're being forced into, or just so many words that in sex men use to bang and to do these different ways to insert.
Mm-hmm.
But with the egg, women take their power back and begin to invite and have complete control of how much and when a man enters us.
Right.
So when we use the jade egg, I have my clients to lay on their backs with their feet on the floor, and they begin to just find...
And their knees sort of bent or
bent,
flexed.
just
okay.
flat. Your knees are up, but your feet are on the floor. And you you massage your belly and your inner thighs. You want to get that energy nice and warm. And you place the egg at the entrance of your yoni.
Okay.
You don't force it in.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I say it's the most delicious part of the experience, because you're actually going to learn to suction the egg in.
Okay.
And not push it in as we're accustomed.
So you're going to use your yoni,
you go squeeze
your vagina as a vacuum.
Absolutely.
To sort of pull it in.
Suck it in.
Yeah. Okay. Vacuum. Okay. Suck. All righty.
Suction. Yeah.
Okay.
So you begin to, little by little, invite the egg in by using your suctioning power.
And when we say egg, we're going to keep using the jade egg, because I don't want somebody at home listening and miss that part and go get a real egg. Okay. Don't want that. Okay, so that's just keep saying the jade egg. And it is on the screen there. So
yes.
And this show is also will be on the radio and on iTunes and UBN radio station. So I just want to say that they might be listening
Yes.
and not watching. So let's just keep saying the
Jade Egg.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. So
All I need is to receive a call.
no, leave them other eggs alone.
No.
You have to have the right, enough right jade egg
Okay.
to insert. And the beauty of it, and why it's so superior to the Kegels, is that you begin to move the egg up and down the vaginal tract.
Now you do this. You're doing this with your muscle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And energy.
Okay.
And energy. That's a big part of it.
Okay. And I just want women to know to not be embarrassed because, it's something I'm sure my mother would never have done.
Right. Mine either.
Yeah. And I hope she's not watching, but we're talking about parents. Mine is no longer with me. But I know a certain age group was not going to do this.
Right.
But again, you have worked with, what's the oldest person you've worked with?
Oh, I think she was 67, and she had her lover who was in London. She's in the Bay Area. And she said, listen, I have 2 weeks to meet my man. Can you help me out? I said, of course. So I customized a program for her to get her where we needed her to be.
Okay.
Before her trip. And she texted me. She said, we haven't left the bedroom.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And you know what? And I love it. I love getting calls from 67-year-old women who want to keep their sexuality and be enlivened as a female and not give up. Because some women just give up on having sex or strengthening their muscles. They don't have to.
No. I remembered a long time ago, and I always tell women, watch this movie. It had nothing to do with sex, but the title of the movie was Sex and Mrs. X.
You gave me, I got that.
Yeah,
one
and
from you.
it just teach women about their femininity,
Mm-hmm.
and so that they know that. And actually, with the movie, just told them your undergarment. You just felt different on the type of undergarment you were wearing.
Yes.
So with women, and then you felt, and it's funny when you put out that vibe, that energy, it's funny how men will attract to you, or your significant other will attract to you. But you got to first feel it yourself. So if you're not feeling this, and they've showed many movies where the women come out with these nice large size underwears, I mean, you're not feeling comfortable yourself putting on something.
Well, the grandma draws.
Yeah.
the granny panties.
Yeah. And that's not even, even for you, that's not sexy.
Right.
And if your mate looking at something like that, that's a big turnoff,
That's like, yeah.
So I want to say that what you're wearing is how you feel. Mm-hmm. I dress for myself. Mm-hmm. And, on top. I mean, I'm not going to go talk about the under, but you feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. So Sex and Mrs. X, I have a dear friend who I loaned that tape to, and they must have watched it, I don't know, 100 times. 3 months later, she was married.
Well, yeah.
And she was happy. Because
it
taught her something about herself. Mm-hmm. And where do we learn this? You don't learn it in school. You don't learn it from parents. Your own sexuality. So, and then know that. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with it. So,
absolutely. To
really strengthen. Now, in doing this exercise for health reasons, it's very good. So, our show is going to be also with our esteemed former Congresswoman Diane Watson, which there was a little problem this morning. So she will not be in the studio with us, but we still will be talking about, urinary incontinence, because we have many ways to help with urinary incontinence. Now, in using the exercise with the Jade, it's also going to tighten the muscles, so it's going to help you more so with urinary incontinence.
Absolutely.
Now, people who have vaginal dryness, not being a medical person yourself, but with vaginal dryness, can they insert or put any lubricant on the Jade itself?
They can.
Okay.
Initially, that's what you need to do. Maybe it's a natural oil, like a coconut oil. But you'll find out by using the egg that you will have a lot more lubrication.
Okay.
It will definitely help.
So
with that.
women who complain of a lot of dryness and thinness of the walls.
Absolutely, you'll have more lubrication. You have more vaginal sensitivity. You have just more control, more juiciness to your womb, to your yoni.
Okay. And at one point, you used to call yourself juicy.
Yes, it's all about being juicy. Who wants to be dry? You want to be juicy and alive, like a nice juicy peach versus a dried up fruit, right?
Exactly.
So that's why I say juicy, because it's an aliveness that you have as a woman that you want to maintain.
Yeah, well, this show is a little different from what I always do. So, but it's all about health. It's all about being happy and having joy in your life. So, and that's just one aspect.
Absolutely.
So, what urinary incontinence and tightening up the muscles or the kegel in the pelvic floor, this is going to help a lot. I see this helping a lot as well, because the machine that I was going to talk about is pretty expensive. And then we do now have another device in our clinic that we're working with that you can also utilize for urinary incontinence. So it's not so much dealing with what you're speaking of, but it can also help. So, but we'll share that at a later date. But it's something really, really wonderful as well. I do love this machine called the True Tesla machine, or the Tesla Max, and it is a big breakthrough and what we utilize for urinary incontinence. So it's just a device and this little probes that are placed on the body in the inner thigh, so that you're dealing with certain muscles on the pelvic floor to help tighten up. Because I'm just going to make a little switch here, because urinary incontinence, women over 50, 65, it's over 50% of those women suffering from urinary incontinence. There's a vast majority. So when you sneeze, cough, laugh, they will sometimes dribble urine. And it makes it very uncomfortable for people to go places, travel, don't have a good laugh, belly laugh, because it's all over. And then, wearing those Depends, a lot of women don't want to do that. So I try to work with women and make sure they don't have to go through that and feel comfortable about themselves. So, urinary incontinence is so important. This particular device is, you don't need to take any medication. Actually, no surgery is needed. And it's affordable, and it's something you can do in your own home. The same as the Jade Egg. So, we can go back and forth. You want to strengthen the noni.
The Yoni.
Yoni.
Yoni,
Not
yes.
noni. That was a drink.
That was
okay.
Noni juice, yeah.
Yes,
The Yoni.
The Yoni. So you want to make sure you strengthen, and you want to make sure that things are done properly, so that you can heal and look and feel great. So, anything else you would like to say about this?
There's so much that I can say about the Jade Egg, but
Well, say it.
I can be here all day. But
Yes.
I would say that a lot of women do complain about orgasms. And I think it's epidemic. A lot of women, especially in America, in the West, do not experience orgasms as they were designed to be, created to be. I always say women are hardwired for ecstasy. And since most of us are not there, we get frustrated by the little things. We create drama to replace what we know we should be experiencing.
Yes.
In our pelvis, we have, just like we have in the brain, we have neural network. We have that also deep in our pelvis, and it's a complex superhighway of wirings that connects to our brain. It's just beautiful once you see it, but in men, not so much. It's not as complex.
Yes.
And so when our pleasure is connected to our brain. And when I read this, I was reading this by a book called Vagina by Naomi Wolf. She was going into the intricacies about our pelvis.
Yes.
And why so many women are having issues, because an orgasm enlivens you. It brings out creativity. You feel better.
It's anti-aging.
It's anti-aging.
Yes.
Right?
That's not why I look very young. But anyway, let's move on.
But I think the conversation is uncomfortable for a lot of people. I find it amazing that in America, when everything is sold through sex, right? And we're so over-sexualized in one way, But to have an intimate, open conversation about it makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I do think that the jade egg will make you more sensitive to touch. It will make you more orgasmic, which then creates more happy hormones in your body. You feel better, you see better, you open up to more creativity. Everyone thrives better when a woman is happy.
Yes, and not do what I did and fake the orgasm. So you don't want to do that. Gee, that was
Yeah.
during my married years. So, and this is what prompted me to start working with women the way I did some 35 years ago. Is because I met so many women who would say, I'm 60-some, 70-some years old, have grandchildren, and have never experienced an orgasm. And I was shocked, but I wasn't too shocked because that was part of my own history. So I start saying, let me see what I can do now to start helping women, because it's just too much going on. And then meeting you through the years and been able to refer the patients to you after they go through their exam, and we test and rule out everything and make sure nothing's going on, no HPV, and which we also work with people with that, and there's nothing, no STDs or anything happening, and we just take care of all of that. And then I like for them to see you.
And it's important because we do have a questionnaire that we have for our applicants. I do work with a specific type of woman who has a particular mindset. So we do have a questionnaire. If there are any serious gynecological issues, I refer them to you.
Yes.
And they can take care of that. They may not be a candidate for this program. For this are women who are healthy and they want to, just maintain their health and strengthen incontinence. If they're not feeling, sexual, something,
Exactly.
if they don't feel like they want to have sex anymore.
Exactly. And then for myself, because I'm not a GYN physician, not a physician, PhD in integrative medicine, my NP, I do all the GYN examinations, but then I work with GYN doctors as well. So I will sometime have to refer them on to see what else is going on with them, which is really important. But we can start really turning around a lot of things to help people to heal. But I have a wonderful referral base, and you're part of it too, part of that team.
Yes.
So we're just going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back. So I just want to say I want to give thanks to our sponsor, which is NuWellness Healthcare, for allowing us to be able to have this wonderful show. Dr. Lee, NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee, and our wonderful segment, Dining Out Healthy with Marie, which you're going to see in a few minutes here. Things have been really, really great. And, to have you here has just been really great as well. I know we're not quite finished, but NuWellness Healthcare offers a variety of different services. The one that I want to say that I take pride in is just seeing the patient as an individual, and working with him from every level, because every level is important. When you walk in the door, the whole history, the greeting them with a nice warm hug, heart to heart, and taking everything step by step. So it's very important that your blood work is done, and that's your functional blood testing and everything, and designing a program. You might need to have genetic testing, but then designing a program to help you to heal. I work a lot with people with vitamin C IV therapies, which we know there's so many indications to help people to heal from vitamin C therapy. Matter of fact, I think you've had an experience, so
Yes.
Halima. So I just want to thank you so much, and this has been really great to have the show with you today.
Thank you for the invite.
And again, I want people to understand the three levels of really exercising their yoni, because it's really important to know that, and for them to, not feel uncomfortable with this, because you work with people online as well as Skype or Zoom.
Skype.
Okay. And then you also work with a person privately, one-on-one.
Absolutely.
So I would say you will have a concierge program.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes. So you will see
definitely.
people in their own home to help them. So this is very professional, and this is something that's really needed. I advise everyone, just see if you can. If you can actually take that jade and just let your yoni be the vacuum to bring it in.
Hmm.
It's amazing. Your husband or your significant other is going to be very, very happy with you
Yes.
after you go through this. I wouldn't tell him anything. I wouldn't tell him
Thank
anything,
you,
you
Dr.
know?
Lee. That's what I tell my clients. But some women, they want to run into the husbands. Keep it to yourself. And I have a technique that I always let my clients use after the training. After like the first 2 weeks, I say, try this technique. It's called the milking technique.
Okay.
And that's when they will do this technique. And then if they get a holler from their man, they know they have
It works.
it works.
Okay. So the proof is in the pudding or the proof is in the yoni.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you, I used to do a lot of pelvic exams, and there wasn't anything I did not find in people's vaginas. So do not put things in your vaginas like strawberries. I've, had them mush up in. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Wowza.
So people, grapes, don't put
Yeah.
food and things into the vagina. Please don't do that.
Well, again, the jade will come out eventually if you don't have it drilled.
So sorry. Jarvis, I would not have laughed like this, but no. Don't be sorry.
Don't be
This
sorry.
is life. This is life, okay? I've had
I'm
people
sure you
ask me
have.
to please find them. So I'm just saying, don't do that,
Oh
please.
my gosh.
Okay? Don't do that. Okay.
Well, the jade egg is not going anywhere. Some people feel insecure about, oh, where it's going. It's not going anywhere. If you have it threaded, which I teach my clients how to do, you hold on to the thread, and you can actually do some resistance training, which really takes your strength to the next level. And you can also do a little bit of lightweight weight training that I don't really talk about really, but you can do some strength training, resistance training with the egg by holding the egg and then lightly tugging on it.
Now you say holding, you mean holding it with,
Your vaginal muscles.
okay, with the vaginal muscles, and then pulling, and then,
yes.
and then go in a little higher, then pull.
There you go.
Therefore, you're going to hit all three levels.
All three sections.
And then
of your
you know
yoni.
how that feel when you're with your partner.
Absolutely. And I always say, women, I'm going to go there. Use your finger to determine where your weak spots are. Some women, because you look at the picture, the second section, the midsection is the widest section, it's the longest section. So your egg is going to rest there, but that top section is very small. That correlates to a man's the head of his penis. So when that top section can be cultivated, that's when you're going to get the yells and the screaming. But you can put your finger in and kind of see, okay, if I squeeze the opening, is it tight? If I squeeze the mid part of my finger, do I feel it? And then you practice, and then you go ahead and test yourself to see where you are.
Yeah. And if you feel uncomfortable, you can use a glove, because
Yes.
it's more easier to insert than maybe your dry finger. So, practice and see what's going on. But,
It's your yoni.
share this show with your friends. You'd be surprised.
It's your yoni.
And this is something you do in the privacy of your own home.
Oh, absolutely.
You're in the privacy of your own home. This is why we're bringing this show, because trust me, I talk to a lot of women all the time, and I hear this every week.
Yes.
Every week. And so we do things to try to help. And they're much happier. Some of them are married now. Some of them in great relationships. The husbands are coming home
And some
on
of them are
time at night
divorced.
now. No divorces.
Well, here's the thing,
Yeah.
because okay, how I started this practice, what really motivated me is I had a boyfriend who had an unusually small penis, or I call lingam, which is Sanskrit for wand of light, a man's penis.
Okay.
And this is a topic that we talk about,
Mm-hmm.
The size. The
Yeah.
size matter.
Yeah.
And I always say that it's easier for a woman to change her size of her yoni than a man to change his girth or his width, right?
Yes.
So these practices, I started practicing daily, and he gave me permission to tell the story, by the way. I don't want.
Okay.
He gave me permission to tell. He said, I want every woman to know what you know. What you know. So please tell this story. I don't even mind showing up one day and talking
Well,
about
we're not
it.
giving his name, so it's okay.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
No. We're friends, and I have a lot of love for him. But he was my partner that was aware of my practices and was, cheering me on. And he was like, okay, I'm not going to get left behind. What do I need to do? So as you grow with your practices, and you have a man, it's going to be hard for him to keep up with your strength and then your energy. So you have to be able to show him how to maintain with you. So there's male sexual practices where he can do his own Kegels, he can do his own breathing and techniques, so that he can handle what you're offering.
That's going to be another show.
How to handle the
right, exactly.
Women get frustrated and they say,
and I'm going to have you give us your information, because we're going to now be moving into our topic on dining out healthy with my wonderful, beautiful host, Marie. Okay, so give out your information real quick here. And
okay, yes. You can reach out to me on my website at sensualcharm.com, SENSUAL charm.com. That's my website. You can get all my information there, read my latest blogs, and just send me a message. And also on Facebook, I'm Spirit Halima. I'm Spirit Halima.
Okay, very good. I want to thank you so much, Spirit Halima. You have really brought some things to the table that people don't talk about. And with urinary incontinence, people don't talk about. So if you're having a problem with urinary incontinence, we didn't go into a whole lot of detail, please call us at NuWellness Healthcare at 310-419-4300. And we are there to help you. Okay. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you. Now, moving right along, dining out healthy with Maria.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the air, and what a wonderful morning topic this morning. How fun. We're going to take it to our food level now.
Yes.
The importance of eating
without
well.
insertion. Okay.
Yes. Last week we were able to experience or share with you the place that we got to visit. So we're going to recap on Wild Living Foods, where Dr. Lee and I had an amazing plant-based, fully organic dinner.
We should go to
breakfast,
today.
Actually.
Delicious.
It was delicious, and I love how their preparation was, and it was just so beautifully and eloquently delivered to us, and the service and the ambiance was amazing. Wild Living Foods is downtown Los Angeles on Main Street and 7th. It's pretty easy to get to. There's some food pictures that were coming up right now. This was our jalapeno poppers, and they were amazing.
They're delicious.
They were, and they were stuffed with cashew cheese.
Gluten-free?
All gluten-free. This is our chile relleno, which is a homemade wrap that they made, which was really interesting because I've never tried making my own wraps with cashews and chipotle. So that's going to be a wonderful challenge, and it was delicious. We also had a wonderful shiitake mushroom pasta, which is all made out of wonderful mushrooms, and a cashew cream sauce, and garnished with some lovely red beets and a delicious salad. Here's another picture of the whole vision of the yumminess. Oh my gosh. The importance of all this is what we're putting into our bodies. And when you're looking at a menu, I think it's really important when you're choosing. Oh, sorry. I have to show the little Molly Berry smoothies, which were
that was the best. That was the dessert. And I had that first.
We did. They delivered that to us first, which was supposed to be our dessert.
Delicious.
And
shredded coconut on top and
coconut milk and coconut cream was in it.
It was delicious.
And it had lots of granola, so it had a crunchiness to it, and it was real frothy, and it was very nutritious as well. I mean, you could just have that as a meal, as opposed to just having all the food. But we get the pleasure of experiencing everything, so it's just so yummy. So definitely. When you're seeking out a place to go, it's important to do a little research too. I think it's important, and that's what my beauty of what we get to do. I get to kind of read about the restaurant, what they're offering. So just make it a full experience rather than just driving by and I'm just going to go in there. Take the time to make the effort.
And we have so many people, like I have some patients who are flying in for treatments and different things. And then, I can tell them, look, you can go here and have dinner. I know you can get vegan and raw food here, and you can do something here and there without maybe going to drive through a fast food. They know not to do that anyway. But, to know the choices. Right. And each restaurant where we have visited have its own quality and its own taste.
Yes.
And we want to know, my concern is, how are things prepared and how is it juiced, and what type of utensils are you cooking with? What type of oils are you cooking with and preparing?
Absolutely.
You don't want to really cook food with oils because it becomes more carcinogenic. So you don't want to burn and fry foods. And we're going to places with a lot of, they have a lot of passion in what they do. And you could taste it in the food. So it's really, really wonderful.
And a good reputation, too, of where you're going. And part of our show, what we'll be doing, we'll also be traveling to other restaurants that aren't necessarily, quote, vegan restaurants. And we'll be researching and finding different meals that you can order off these menus. Because I know in our life and how our styles are, there's times that you don't have the opportunity to seek out where you want to go. So, you're going to have to make a detour and go in there, and then taking the time to research and say, okay, what's in this? How do you prepare it? So you can create what you want in a restaurant, and you can also ask for what you want, and that's the biggest important.
I am so excited that I am going to be highlighting Maria's food. She's a chef herself.
Yes.
And she's going to be providing concierge treatment, concierge chef meals for a lot of our patients as well.
Yes.
And not just patients. She does parties already and gatherings.
I do a lot of events.
She does a lot of events. And you should see her spread. I mean, just totally delicious and vegan and raw food. So if you need Maria to cater your party, 1 or 2 people, it doesn't matter.
Just go
up to 100, just give her a call.
Meals with Marie.
Yes, and I'm calling it Concierge.
Oh, thank you.
I love Concierge.
Yes.
Concierge with Maria.
Yes, and I also cook with as you know, I cook with wasted food and food that's doesn't look as desirable, but it's just as delicious once it touches my hands and I have a chance to, whatever the word I'm looking for, but to make it beautiful again and taste good, because it is important that nothing should be wasted. Nothing should be wasted.
No, it should not.
Yes.
It should not. I'm telling you, we have a great time, and we've had a really great show here talking about the different foods, and we didn't have a chance to really go into a lot about this restaurant, and I really wanted to because of what they had to offer. But most important, too, to let people know who you are.
Yes.
So let's tell people today a little bit about you and what you do.
Oh, okay. I am a co-founder of a nonprofit called We Eat to Live, and we're here right now locally in Los Angeles. And my responsibility is to be the chef part. And so the education part of cooking with food. And I get food that's donated and gifted to me from different organic food markets, from downtown Los Angeles, Grand Central Market. And I take these foods and I prepare a healthy meal, especially for my class that I do on Monday nights, Miracle Makers. I take all the food. So I really don't know what I'm making until I'm driving home and after I get the visual of what I'm going to cook with. And that's what they get, whether it's potatoes, sweet potatoes, lots of zucchini and eggplant. And I make it into a healthy organic meal, vegan meal. And so it's a lot of fun, and it's, thinking off the top of your head, okay, what am I going to do? And I do throw some other things in there to improvise if I don't get the herbs.
But you make your own jams.
I make my own jams,
oh my goodness.
Salsas, all homemade soups.
Delicious.
And lately I've been playing around with, and I don't have pictures to show, but I will soon, is a lot of vegan desserts. And I've been testing them out, and they've been pretty successful, and it's been fun because I've done desserts the other way, but I've never done vegan desserts.
And they're gluten-free.
And they're all gluten-free,
they're
absolutely.
All gluten-free because it's, I have to have a diet and keep it kind of clean.
It's really important. I am very mindful of whoever I'm cooking for. I do ask about their allergies, what they're allergic to, and so when I'm preparing a meal, I'll make sure I'm not going to put the peanuts in there, or I'm not going to put certain foods in there or ingredients that might affect someone. So I'm very thoughtful in that pattern. And as well, I put a lot of love into my food.
Oh, I know.
That's the biggest thing. I pray on it. It's like a ceremony to me when I'm preparing a meal. And my consciousness goes to whether it's abundance or it's, love. And I put that into the meal so people can actually feel that. I know it doesn't make sense to some, but I know it works, and I know they can.
You're such a nice size. If I was preparing all these meals, but they're vegan, I don't know what size I would be. They're so delicious. I went to her house one Saturday night after she prepared all this food, and it was such a beautiful spread. Oh my goodness!
I made like 5 different things.
5, and it was so delicious. It was really delicious, and including the little dessert.
Yes.
So it was absolutely wonderful. So I tell her, call me anytime.
Yes.
I'll be there.
Maybe I'll have an opportunity sometime to bring some on the air, and we can share it and look at it and talk about it.
Well, we'll share it, but our viewing audience will not be sharing.
We don't have TV where
they will be calling you.
Yes.
They'll call you. But I want to just say that I just am so grateful.
Thank you,
Marie, for us working together and for you coming on board, because you have really helped to add a wonderful aspect to the show with Dining Out Healthy.
Thank you.
I really thank you.
No, thank you for asking me. So it's been so much fun, and it's my next journey. So, I'm working on a cookbook now.
Yes, wonderful.
Yes.
So I just want to thank everyone, and it's amazing. I don't have my little badge on today.
You don't.
But I just want to say that I thank everyone for listening. Please share this show. Share this show with your friends and family. I want to thank Spirit Halima again for being here. I want to thank so much Maria as always. And until next Wednesday, please, again, share this show with your friends and family. Peace and blessings to everyone. Repeat after me. I am.
I am.
We know the power of I am. I am so grateful.
So grateful
that I am.
That I am
a magnet.
A magnet
for miracles. And feel those miracles. I want to hear from everyone. Share your miracles with me, because the more you say this and the more you believe in this and say it every morning throughout the day, watch what comes to you. The I am is so powerful. We know the power of I am. Thank you. Tune in next Wednesday. Peace and blessings.
Join us every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. for NuWellness TV with Dr. Lee. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body.